Welcome to Dementia-Friendly Prince George's County, Maryland Northern Sector webinar series for caregivers. Today's topic is Replenishing Your Caregiving Well, sponsored by Prince George's County Government and the Department of Family Services.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to add my thank yous for you taking your time out of your busy schedules to join us this evening. My name, as you know, is Glenda Bullock-Willis. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling for probably over 30 years. My approach is hopefully to assist those that come to see me to connect mind, body, and spirit. And so, our purpose this evening is to come up with some strategies that can be incorporated in your lives to avoid caregiver burnout. The first thing I wanted to talk about was acceptance. The definition of acceptance is an action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered, willingness to tolerate a difficult or unpleasant experience. And it is my belief that before we can develop coping skills, whatever we have to deal with and as we go through this process of life, is to honor acceptance or acknowledge the circumstances. Practice to see things as they are, not denying, letting go of judgment, checking our self talk. What are we saying to ourselves? Are we saying, I can't believe this is happening? This isn't right. This can't be true. Or can I get through this? Is this is what it is, one taken one day at a time. So practicing acceptance is acknowledging your current place. The next thing would be awareness. Awareness is knowledge or perception of a situation or a fact. Can make us proactive, can boost our acceptance, can lead to better decision making. And being self-aware is very important as we care for others. I think back about the airplane story, um, where they always tell us when we're traveling, if we're traveling with a minor, that we need to take the mask and put it on ourselves first before we put it on the child. I used to have a hard time with this, but then I had to come to the awareness that if I don't put it on myself first, then how am I going to help anybody else? So, replenishing the well, if we empty out our wells, when we get thirsty, there'll be nothing for us to drink. So, the key concept here in caregiving is awareness. The next slides are going to show you some needs. I want you to kind of look over these, what they say are maybe some needs that we may have, needs, wants, and desires, and kind of check off any or jot some down if you think these are things that you need in your life for you to be whole and connect mind, body, and spirit. So give you a couple of minutes to look at that. And we can go to the next page for more needs. Did we see the first one? So as we look through the needs, we can think about what we want, what our desires may be. Also examining our thoughts, our core beliefs maybe. Self-awareness can lead us to creating healthy boundaries for ourselves so we don't complete our wells. Knowing our limitations, our strengths, as well as our weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. So it's going to be how we can use our strengths to compensate for our weaknesses. So some of the things that they say are sources for caregiver burnout have to do with putting everyone else's needs before our own, not tending to our own physical and emotional needs, which can end up in not sleeping well, poor eating habits, failure to exercise, and failure to keep our wellness visits with our physicians to see how we are doing. Also, something that has come up is self medication, the use of drugs, alcohol, or tobacco to fill that space in order to basically think we can become a way to relax. So I want everybody to do me a favor right now because as we move toward the end, I'm going to have you guys do a little exercise. So is it possible to grab a cookie, a cracker, a raisin, or a piece of chocolate? Anything like that close by for you to get? And I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do that. So we've talked about some of the things that research says are sources of caregiver burnout. So we're going to talk about how we can create healthy boundaries. What can we do that will create healthy boundaries as we find ourselves in this role? So it talks about setting realistic goals. Flexible goals, not rigid ones, that can't be tweaked because we know certain things will happen. And so we don't want the goals to be so rigid that if you don't reach a goal by 2 o'clock, let's say on a Wednesday, that becomes a source of stress. So we want to make sure there's flexibility as we set our goals. Some goals may have to do with taking a break, getting help with tasks. As we find self awareness in what our needs are, what our limitations are, we will know how to get help or how to ask for help with certain tasks. Setting time to engage or goal to engage in activities that you make you feel more healthy. Thinking about things that you enjoy doing and still trying to build in time to do them. Goals don't have to be worked on all at once. They can be worked on step by step. Also, coming up with a plan to reach that goal. If the goal is to feel more healthy, what can you put in place that will help you reach that goal? Do you need to make an appointment to get a regular physical checkup? Do you need to take a break once during the week? Do you need to add exercise, like maybe walking for 10 minutes? What is it that you need to do to reach your goal? Creating a village, listing those that you can reach out to for help and assistance when you need it, not trying to do everything yourself, but looking to see what sources are available so you do have the time to make time for yourself is going to be very important. So the next thing we wanted to talk about step by step is building a toolkit to be able to take time for yourself. The first thing on the list is a gratitude journal. Maybe thinking about this journal being something to list your attitude of gratitude. What happens a lot of time is we may not be able to rest. So before you go to bed, there may be a lot of things on your mind. But if you pick up this journal and you write down maybe 3 things every night before you go to bed that you're grateful for, it will help see that although things are happening in a certain way right now, there is still time to water the seeds of gratefulness. Identifying sources of energy that inspire you. What makes you feel alive? What could you do that would help you feel like you're progressing? A lot of times it's about energy. So trying to keep the energy as positive as you can, even though we know things are going to happen. But if we concentrate on negative things, it's like they're growing. So not to make believe that everything is perfect, but to try to stay as positive and think about the things that you want to happen and not think about the things that you don't want to happen. And when things do happen, hopefully being more buoyant to accept, yes, I acknowledge this is happening, and being able to make informed decisions about what direction to take. Taking time to relax. Relaxation is going to be key, even if it's just maybe 5 minutes or 7 minutes. How do you build in relaxation to your day? Sometimes it's meditation. There are many forms of meditation. Prayer is meditation. Also, connecting with your breath. Your breath can help you to relax. So, right now, I would just like you to do an exercise with me, and it's an exercise in conscious breathing. And I will explain why we call it conscious breathing. Um, as we go through it. It'll be on one of your slides that you'll be able to pull off later. I put in 3 techniques of breathing, but I'm going to explain conscious breathing to you and how I want you to do it. Conscious breathing is breathing from the bottom up rather than the top down. Usually, when we breathe, we don't even have to think about it, we just do it normally. So, we usually, most of the time, breathe from the top down. But I want you to, in this exercise, breathe from the bottom up. It'll be like you're filling up a balloon and it's growing from the bottom. So if you would take your right hand and put it on your stomach and your left hand on your upper chest. When we do this, the bottom hand should move and not so much the top hand because we're filling from the bottom. So what you're going to do when I say take a breath in, your stomach is going to protrude. It's going to come out. So on the inhale, your stomach comes out. Inhale. Let's hold for a little bit, maybe 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you release that breath, your stomach is going to go in to touch your back. So exhale, inhale again, filling up as much as you can. Hold it, maybe for 4 counts. Exhale, inhale again, holding for 4 counts. The purpose of conscious breathing is to help you kind of relax, to kind of not keep thinking thoughts over and over that may be overwhelming to you, but give your brain a rest. Breathing this way usually means the brain has to think about breathing. So when the brain thinks about breathing, it can't do more than one thing at a time and introduce those thoughts that are kind of not helping you relax, but also stressing you out. So the breath is an important vehicle that can help you relax. So the breathing techniques are on the back. You can decide whether you want to take a breath in through the nose, release it through the mouth, or take it in through the mouth, release it through the nose, or using the nose for both or the mouth for both. You're going to want to get the rhythm of your breath, your breathing, and plug into that so you can go within and relax. Another thing is taking responsibility for self care, including you in the schedule that you make as you take care of everybody else, including your care into a priority as well. That way, as you see yourself as a priority, you'll be able to build up a storage of energy to replenish your well. Developing coping skills to handle what may come. Sometimes coping skills have a lot to do with our self talk. How do we talk to ourselves? Do we talk to ourselves to help us calm down, or do we talk to ourselves that escalates our anxiety? Do we say things to ourselves that are positive, or do we think things to ourselves that highlight our mistakes? Knowing our limitations, and that doesn't have you thinking that if you cannot do everything, then you're going to feel guilty. No, awareness, knowing how much you can take on your platter today. What do I need to do at a certain time? And taking time to reflect. As you reflect, you can think about things that you may want to do differently. What has gone right? What maybe might not have gone as well as I wanted it to go. So basically, what you're going to do is sit down and look at things, take a break and go over it, reflect upon certain things. That will help you decide what may need to be tweaked and what may need to be changed. But doing it proactively rather than in the heat of the moment when things are happening will help things go smoother. Make a list of resources that when you reach out, you know, okay, this is where I can go for this help. Kind of having that handy and being able to go to it and refer to it when the need arises. Some resources that can help with as far as relaxation, I find YouTube can be a source for resources that you can go to and put on maybe some soundscapes, some music that will help you relax. Also, there are TED Talks that have various topics on YouTube that you can turn turn to and listen to that can be informative for helping you deal with certain things that you're having to deal with. YouTube also has different meditations on there that you may want to incorporate into um, your toolkit. So on this toolkit as well, I have mindfulness. And what mindfulness basically is operating from being in the now, in the present, focusing on the now. A lot of times when we're caring for others, we find ourselves always thinking about what we woulda, coulda, shoulda done and what we're going to do afterwards. I want you to think about mindfulness as a tool for centering, like even in when you're brushing your teeth. Take time to be brushing your teeth. Think about, I'm brushing my teeth. Think about what you're doing when you're flossing and how you're brushing your teeth. Be in that present moment. When, if we think about the past, we can use the past to inform our present. But if we go back into the past and bring it back to the present, we're kind of reliving a lot of things that can encumber our now, which means we can go back and find guilt. We can go back and find resentment, or we can go back and find our mistakes. All of those things are usually in the past, and reaching back into the past to get them can kind of not let us have the most out of our present. We don't want to go too far and reach into the future as well. We want to enjoy the now. The power is going to be in the now. Usually, where the future takes us in some instances is worry. What's going to happen next? And sometimes in the worrying, we already come up with the outcome that makes us worry more even before it's happened, but it's like it's really happening to us because we are worrying about it. And sometimes the brain can't tell the difference between what is actually happening and what is worry and hasn't happened yet. Some, and even when we're eating, we want to eat mindfully as well. And I don't know how many of you were able to get a raisin or a cookie or just something, chocolate candy or something that you could um, look at and taste. But I'm kind of going to walk you through a mindfulness meditation that has to do with um, those things that you might have been able to get. If you weren't able to get something, I'm going to ask you to kind of use your imagination a little bit. So, what you would do, because you can do this on your own as well, um, you can set aside 5 or 10 minutes to yourself when you're alone, when you won't be disturbed by a phone, friends, or family. Kind of turn off the cell phone, and then just take nuts or raisins or, little candy pieces in your hand, um, or in front of you, and you want to eat whatever it is you choose to pick in a mindful way. So, what you do first, you're going to just take whatever you have and hold it in your hand. Just place it in your palm, focus on it. Take it between your fingers and your thumb. Look at it a little bit. And then you see it. Can you feel it? How much do you think it may weigh? It's all about whatever you have in your hand at this time. Take time to look at it like you've never seen whatever it is. If it's a cookie or a raisin or nut, you've never seen it before. So you kind of want to look at it and give it your full attention. Let your eyes explore it. Let's see how it feels. Turn it over and over in your hand. Explore the texture. So now you're basically using the sense of touch. You did sight. Now you're going to want to smell whatever you have. Does it have a scent? Now you can place it in your mouth, noticing how the tongue receives it without chewing. Simply explore the sensation of having it on your tongue. Gradually begin to explore, taking time to do this. You can do this with your meals as well. So we're not rushing through eating. Okay, now you can consciously maybe want to chew what you have. Slowly chewing, you're not swallowing it yet. Notice what's happening in your mouth. And then finally swallowing. If you want to practice this technique, you can do so. And then afterwards, maybe write down something about the experience. You can do this with your meals. If you make a certain thing as you're eating, you're going to be eating. You're not going to be thinking, when I finish eating this meal, I have to do da, da, da. You're going to be in the moment, in the now, being able to enjoy that present moment. And mindfulness is to get you more into being present and in the now, and spills over into everything else that we may do in our lives. Like I say, at the end are some of the breathing techniques. And I have also put in place some things that will happen in January and February as well. Again, I thank you. And I
Much,
will turn
Glenda.
things over to Sharon. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Glenda, for everything. These were wonderful and just very informative tips on how to replenish your well as a caregiver, whether you're caring for a parent, a spouse, a sibling, or even those who are caring for children, all caregivers who wear different hats. And sometimes, you're a caregiver for multiple, either your spouse, parent, and children. So these can apply to all of those circumstances. Um, uh, two other slides I'm going to just briefly touch on is just highlighting um, again, that Dementia Friendly America, Prince George's County Northern Sector hosts these webinars, live webinars every Thursday. And so we thank you all for taking time out of your schedule to attend during the evening. We also host virtual support groups. A caregiver support group takes place the first and third Wednesdays of every month. The social distancing support group takes place the first and third Thursdays of every month. And if you would like to receive, if you're not, but you would like to be added to our email newsletter listserv, please just reach out to us and let us know. And then also, I apologize for that, the YouTube channel coming in June. It is out in all of the videos. If you missed any portion of this video, it will be uploaded to the Dementia Friendly America Northern Prince George's County YouTube channel. There you can check out and refer back to this presentation and other presentations that we have recorded. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can email me or give me a call about any of these programs here. The next slide is just additional information that we provide to the caregivers, and additional information provided to the caregivers and websites that you can use at your leisure. And then also a resource to provide to you, the Prince George's County Maryland Department Area Agency on Aging is a good resource to use if you have any questions about caregiving. Just another resource along with the others here. And again, all of this is provided in the handouts section. If you would like to print it out, you can do that. Okay, and then Glenda also provided some notes sections at the end. If you did print it out, you can use that for that, or if you do print it out, you can refer back to and just write any notes that you have or any questions that you have.